can use my phone to type. How do I find you? Is it right here? Yep.
Go to my page.
Oh, I gotta do this one. How come I can't see who's on? Oh, I'm in this you.
At Wegmans, we're here to help make delicious meals easy. Use our Wegmans meal.
Is that what you want from me?
Just if there's anything to do, you can find it on the website.
Hey, Jana. Hey, Toya. We'll be starting up shortly, and guess roles have switched because now I'm on this side. See if I can be as good a host as Alexa. We'll be starting up very shortly. We're just waiting for a few more people to join, and then Alexa will begin. Thank you for joining. She'll be taking questions as well, so if you have questions, type question in. I'll make sure that she gets to them. Jana Reed. Toya said, "Hey, I'm looking forward to seeing my favorite chef."
Toya! Hi, girlie. Hi, everybody. I don't know who's on.
Laura Kennedy, "Hi Alexa, we met through Rita at Millennium. Happy cooking."
Hi, how are you? Thanks for joining.
Starting up very shortly. We're just gonna wait for a few more to get on, and then Alexa will get busy. Jana wants to know what's on the menu. She's gonna
I can't tell you. Now, girl, you know me better than that.
stop looking for the answers to the test. Jana. Thanks for joining us all. Hi, Dawn. Dawn Nicholas is on.
Hey, Dawn.
We're going to be starting up very shortly. Hey, mommy. My mom is on.
Oh, hey, Mama.
Elaine Jordan.
Hi, Lane.
Ready?
Sure. Let's go. Why not? Hi, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to my page by AlexaJoan.com, and welcome to this series that I'm really excited about. Excited to be on here with you for the last couple weeks, couple months. I've been on the other side of the camera for a third of our week, kind of broadcasting with Idris as he does his live quarantine paintings. So you've heard my face, heard my voice, but not seen my face. So, you know, I'm here now. This three-part cooking series titled Soul Food is Food for the Soul is brought to you by REACH, Racial and Ethnic Approaches to Community Health, which is a project of CAI. And it's a national program funded by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and administered locally by CAI of Buffalo to reduce racial and ethnic health disparities in rates of chronic disease. And that's specifically in the West Ferry 14215 Ferry Street corridor. So putting together a lot of programming that focuses on health, chronic health disease and issues in our communities, high heart rate, diabetes, blood pressure, obesity, inflammation, which it kind of all stems from. So I wanted to be a part of this because you all know food is very important to me. You all know that I've had, challenges with my health and inflammation. So I know there's some things that I have modified in my diet. There are still more things I need to modify in my diet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be, and I'm really thankful about that. So anytime I get an opportunity to come onto camera and share something with people, even if you learn one little nugget, I'm happy. So, quick thing. I know you're wondering about the title, and I also mentioned health disparities and how that kind of goes together, soul food, because typically soul food is fried chicken, sweet potatoes, mac and cheese. Not bad food, just, food that we have grown up with because it's comfort food. It's food that makes us feel good. Food connects us to memories. It connects us to feelings. It connects us to people. So food is very, very, very important to our daily lives. It's one of our, our major needs. So when we talk about food, we need to get back to, or we need to change the narrative around food. Sometimes we use food as just as a matter of, I need to feel good, I need something now, I need something fast, I need something quick. Instead of stopping, first asking yourself the question, am I really hungry? Do I really need this bowl of ice cream? Is it going to help me? Do I really need these chips? Do I really need this hamburger? Take a second, take a drink of water, think about it, and say, what is going to nourish my body? What's going to nourish my soul? And that's what brought about the title Soul Food is actually food for the soul. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel whole. It doesn't make you want to fall asleep. So good food, healthy food, whole food is soul food, but it's for the soul. Not gonna fatten you up or, give you that tired, sleepy feeling. So that's why I'm here today. Long story short, I guess you can say. So the goal is to get people to, as you know what I always say, make vegetables the star of your plate. So we are not gonna have fried chicken today, or sweet potatoes, or mac and cheese. I have a plant-based meal for you today. But it's also versatile because if you feel you want to add a little bit of protein to it, like some fish or some chicken, feel free to do so. These are side dishes, but instead of thinking them as side dishes, let's think about them as the main star on your plate. The the .gov plate used to always say, portion out everything on your plate so that it's equally portioned. Well, the new plate says half of your plate should be all vegetables, and the other quarter should be protein, and then the last quarter should be grains. So that's what we're kind of doing today. Actually, I don't think I have any grains other than beans. So the first thing I'm going to do for you is make a vegan mayo, because I have 3 items on the menu today. The first is a chickpea tuna, which I will create the mayo for. And then I'm going to be making a cabbage, kale, apple salad, and a marinated bean salad. So I'm preparing for 4 today, and with all the ingredients, not necessarily the condiments, but pretty much all the ingredients, less than $20 for 3 items, and things that will provide you leftovers for the week, or something that you can stretch another meal with. So under $20, I'm going to make 3 different dishes, and let's see what kind of magic we can make. So the first thing I'm going to do is make the vegan mayo. As I mentioned, I'm going to be using beans. So typically, what do you do when you make beans? You open the can, you drain out the liquid. Or if you are cooking dried beans, you boil them and you let them sit, let them soften, then you cook them. But there's always a starchy liquid that's left over. Well, that starch in the plant-based world is called liquid gold. It's called aquafaba, and it's the liquid starch from the beans. So what I did was, for my chickpea tuna, I reserved some of the liquid, and I'm going to use a mason jar, and hopefully, if my cord stretches, an immersion blender. The other ingredients I have: brown mustard. I have acid, which is a lemon, or I could use vinegar or something like that. I have my salt. I have a touch of sweetener, and I have oil. And I'm gonna probably add a little garlic powder, only because garlic is good. Makes everything better. So I'm going to put about 1/4 of a cup, which is 2 ounces, of aquafaba into my mason jar. And I will tell you something. I have measurements for all of this. You can find all of my recipes, all my recipes on my website. But what I like people to do is to get comfortable with in the kitchen. Get comfortable with not having to measure. Cooking is all about feeling, just like art or expression or the things that you do on a regular basis. You kind of have to feel it. And I know over the last 4 months, everybody has been back in the kitchen. So I know you got that feeling, and I know you know what I'm talking about now, because you don't always have time for teaspoons and tablespoons and cups, especially if you want to do something fast. So I'm going to add in about 1/4 teaspoon, a little bit more because I like mustard, of Dijon mustard. This happens to be organic. You don't have to buy organic for Dijon mustard, but because it contains, some oils and things like that, you do want to kind of make sure that you're getting a good quality product. The next thing I'm going to do is add about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and I'm going to zest in some lemon zest, because I think that'll give a nice little flavor to the aquafaba mayo, or the vegan mayo. I'm just going to zest maybe about 1/4 of it. cut up my, this is a neat little tool. This is a juicer. I'm sure you all know about them, but I like to use them because I don't always like to fish seeds out of things, and I don't always like to squeeze my lemon in my hand because sometimes I have paper cuts and that stuff hurts. So I'm going to put in about 1.5 teaspoons of lemon juice. And that's about 1/2 of a lemon that you can use. Alright, then next we're going to add in some sweetener. Now sweetener, I am not a sweet person, so I don't add a lot of sweeteners into my food. So this recipe calls for about 1 to 3 teaspoons of some sweetener. You can use honey, you can use maple syrup, you can use stevia, you can use monk fruit, any type of, or date syrup. You can use anything that you want to in order to sweeten up this mayo. So I'm going to use about a teaspoon of maple syrup. This is my oil. I've combined half extra virgin olive oil and half olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil is going to help it emulsify a little more because it's just it's a little thicker and richer than regular olive oil. And a couple dashes of garlic, granulated garlic, and 2 shakes of pepper. This recipe can or does work in a blender, but usually you have to make it at a really large quantity. So an immersion blender or NutriBullet or something like that is really best. I'm going to start blending it. I'm going to stream in the oil. I'm going to probably raise the immersion blender up and down in the cup to help incorporate some air so that you can get that fluffy, whipped awesomeness of mayo. Hear that change? When you're cooking, always use all of your senses. So your hearing is going to be really important when you're cooking. If you notice the emulsion, the blender kind of slowed down a little bit and the sound got deeper, that's because you're creating and incorporating that air and getting that thickness that you want. So this is it so far. Almost looks like a dressing. And I used about 3/4 of my oil. Vegan mayo. This is going to set up in your refrigerator, which means it's going to get a little thicker as it chills, and you always taste. That's good. You can always add a little salt if you think that that's what it needs. But you don't want to add too much because you remember you're already going to be putting different ingredients into it, so you don't want to add too much salt to any one item. Alright, so in the fridge it goes. What's going on over in the interwebs? Nobody saying anything to me yet?
Everybody's watching.
We're watching?
Yeah,
Okay.
everybody's watching. You have Mark Robinson has joined us.
Hey, Mark.
Ron Jennings.
Hey, Ron Jennings.
Dion.
Hey, G. Hey, everybody. So,
Ruthie,
yeah, feel free
Ruthie
to-
Lloyd.
Hey, Ruthie. So, yes, definitely feel free to ask me any questions. All right, next we are heading over to the kale, cabbage, apple salad. Actually, I'll keep this out. I'll use this one. All right, so kale, powerhouse green. It's a bitter green. This is a cold prep salad. I'm doing all cold dishes because it's hot outside and I don't want to turn on my oven. And I want you all to, not say, how come she made all that food and I gotta turn on my oven? I don't want to do that. So, we're gonna do a kale, cabbage, apple salad. Really popular salad. Very simple. Very, something that you wouldn't think was actually, one, fun to eat. 2, healthy for you, and all those good things. And it's, inexpensive ingredients. How much is cabbage? 79 cents, 69 cents a pound. 1 apple. Kale leaves. Apple cider vinegar. Oil. Salt and pepper. A little bit of sweetener. That's it. All right.
Sean Nelm said, "Oh, she brought out the motorboat."
I got to. Learned that. Mr. Sean Nelms, our DJ, doing DJ sets every other night. All right, so I have washed the kale. Kale is something you definitely want to wash because it comes from the earth, so there's going to be dirt in it. So I just put it in a bath of cold water with some vinegar, let it soak in there for a little while, and just took it out. If your kale is wilted or anything and you think that it's gone bad and you want to throw it out,
Shock it.
don't do that yet. Yeah, you got to shock it. Shock it, liven it up. It's a plant. It needs water. If it's looking wilted, give it something to drink. Same thing for you. If for some reason you're feeling a little wilted or tired, get some water. You'll need some. All right. So I'm just going to peel off the lettuce from the stems. I want bite-sized pieces, but I don't want them so small that I have to use a spoon to eat them. All right? I know I say all right a lot. And then I have to take it right off of the rib. I know I did that a little fast. Is somebody gonna want to see that again? And just peel it. And peel away. Think about when you were in the kitchen with your grandmother picking string beans and picking collard greens for Sunday dinner. Or peeling the potatoes or chopping the onions, which was my job, which I didn't particularly care for, but I guess there's a reason for everything. If you are a composter, feel free to compost, or if you don't want to put your veggie stems out in the garbage right away, go ahead and throw them in a baggie in the refrigerator and then put them in the garbage. But you certainly can compost. That would be awesome. Now, kale is very tough, and a lot of people don't like to eat it raw because it's so tough, and it's sometimes hard to digest. So if your system, digestive system, is not comfortable with eating raw, rough kale, then I'll show you a little trick of what you can do to make it a little more easily digestible for you. So here I have my my kale. And you know how 7th, 8th grade science, I think it was, we got, all cells and plants. Well, all these cells in kale, they can be broken down. And it's done by massaging the kale. So I just take a little bit of oil. Oils are really good and healthy for you. This is still that extra virgin olive oil. Good fats for your body. Drizzle that over all of the oil, all over the kale. And this is actually going to become part of your dressing. And then just massage it. And it's going to break down. And it's going to get softer. And it's going to be easier to chew. And the cool thing about this salad, the great thing about this salad, is that this is something that you can make on Monday and eat for the rest of the week because it's just going to get better. It's not going to break down and get watery or brown or be mushy. It's going to, hold its texture, hold its firmness, And because it's in a dressing or a vinaigrette, it's going to kind of marinate over the next few days. And it's going to be awesome. Who doesn't like kale? And if so, why?
Question from Latoya.
What's up?
Can you substitute with another leafy green?
You can. You can substitute with Tuscan kale. You could probably substitute with collard greens. Collard greens are a little tough. Sometimes you need to blanch them first or shock them first. But you probably could. I prefer kale because it's softer, but it still has the nutritious denseness to it. If you wanted to add like romaine or something like that, it just wouldn't last as long, especially because it's sitting in that vinegar. You need something that's going to hold up to that acid so it doesn't break down. Cabbage. I have a small head of cabbage, and I'm only going to use half of it. Because even though this is really small, I think this weighs about 2 pounds, it goes a long way. Alright. I still have oil on my hands.
And you started cutting before I was ready, too.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're doing a demonstration.
Oh, I'm doing a demonstration, yes.
Not everybody knows.
How to cut cabbage in half, I know.
Well, maybe they do. I don't
Maybe
know.
they do, I don't know. I'm taking cues from my cameraman. So I cut the cabbage in half. I simply cut a little portion of it. Always cut with the flat side down. Otherwise, you're going to try and hunt around and find your food and end up cutting your digits, and that's not good. Always hold your knife. The handle of your knife should be in your hand. Use your thumb and your index finger as a pincher. Kind of hold it so that's an extension of your arm. So I am going to cut the cabbage in a way that is going to match the cut of the kale. I don't want it too fat because I want it to marinate, but I don't want it too thin because I don't want the fork to miss it. So I'm just going to make some nice strips. Notice how I'm holding my vegetables with my knuckles away from or towards the knife so my fingers don't get in the way.
You are being joined by Sufana
Hi, Sufan.
and Monica McFoy.
Hey, Monica McFoy. How are you guys today? On this beautiful day. I see a lot of people have been doing a lot of bike riding, which is awesome. And going to, Griffith Park and the falls and a whole lot of other places, too.
I would love to get out. I would really
I
love
know. Well, we did Niagara Falls a little while ago.
to. Yeah.
The boys weren't thrilled. Don't know why. I think they are getting used to being in the house on their devices. All right, some of the parts of the cabbage are a little tough, so you just want to be mindful of how you're going to cut that because you don't want to get a mouthful of this. This is a really tough part. Cabbage is also really good just to eat by itself, which sometimes I do. I'll just make a nice simple coleslaw with just a little bit of rice vinegar and mayonnaise and some spices, and just have a little soy sauce, and that's it.
Monica said hey, and Sufana said doing well.
Hey! Alright, so I put some cabbage into the bowl.
While you're on cabbage, you have a question.
Yes.
Do you ever use purple or red cabbage?
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you want to bring color to this dish, you can use any cabbage that you want to. And it can be pre-cut if you wanted to. I just choose white. I don't know why I choose white. Because usually I'm making something that has other colors in it. That's all.
That question was from Dion.
Okay. And I'm going to sprinkle a little salt over my cabbage and let that rest because that salt is going to soften the cabbage a little bit. Next thing I have to do is cut up my apple. Where's my knife? There it is.
Being joined by Michelle Waller as you cut the apple. Hey,
Hello,
Michelle.
Hello. All right, I am cutting up my apple now. And since you mentioned color a little while ago, I'm using red. So red, green, and white is going to be in this salad. How to cut the apple. This is actually a Gala apple. You can use a Granny Smith apple. You can use a Fuji apple. Any type of apple that you want. But the purpose of me adding apple to this is so I don't have to use as much sweetener. So the apple is going to bring out the sweetness. And you can either chop this in squares or dices or sticks. I'm just kind of used to chopping it in sticks. And you can make it as thin or thick as you like. You want to bite the apple, you want to know that the apple is there, but you may not want to necessarily see the apple.
What kind of apple is that?
This is a Gala apple. Something about the sweetness in the Gala apple I just really like. It's sweet and tart, but it's not mushy. It may be, depending upon the season, it could be mushy because apples, if they're too old, they just don't hold up very well.
Oh, I can't eat it.
Huh?
I can't eat it.
No, you can't eat the salad. So Idris is saying he can't eat the salad, and it's because I'm gonna wash my hands. It's because he for some reason there's something about apple that doesn't sit well with his system. Apple is a natural antihistamine, so it creates some mucus and things in his throat or when he eats it. So he ends up coughing and blowing his nose. So he doesn't like it. It's a good thing, because now he knows if he's ever stopped up, he can have some apple and it'll clear him out. But if you do not like apple, you can definitely use something else. You can use pear. You can use peach. You can use dried fruits. Really, anything that I make or any recipe that you have, you can use whatever substitutions you want to, which is really cool. And that's one thing. I know we go online looking for recipes and things like that, but be creative. Try and do something different. See what happens if you change up one ingredient or two ingredients. I've learned to cook with ratios instead of recipes. And when I say that, I know that, for example, salad dressing. I know it goes in salad dressing. I know what I want it to taste like. So once I know my spices, all I need to do is make sure I have 1 part acid and 3 parts oil. And what that means is, let's say, for example, this, which is very big in this case, is a part. This is 1 part. It's an 8-ounce glass. So if I'm making a big container of salad dressing, I would use 1 part acid, so vinegar, mixture of vinegar and lemon juice, or mixture of vinegar and orange juice, 1 part into my blender. Then I'm going to add in my salt. I'm going to add in some garlic and some mustard, which will help emulsify, and my salt and pepper and my sweetener. Then I blend that up just like I did with the vegan mayo, and then I'm going to take 3 containers of this, 3 8-ounce containers of oil, and drizzle it into my oil. So it's going to create a salad dressing, and you're going to have the perfect balance of acid to oil with the 1 to 3 part ratio. So I think that might be enough apple for now. And then also for Idris, since he doesn't like apple juice or doesn't like apples and can't eat them, I have to substitute vinegar. So maybe I would use rice rind vinegar or something like that instead of apple cider vinegar. Again, just another little thing that I could do to make sure that he can eat this and enjoy it and have something, so I don't have to cook 2 or 3 different times.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. All right, now I have my cabbage, I have my kale, I have my apples. Now for the dressing. I'm not going to mix up the dressing. Again, this is very simple, very easy, no fuss. All right, I have a little bit of salt in here. Whoop. And I have the fan going, so the pepper is going all over the place. A little bit of pepper. And I'm going to add, if you want to, you can add a little sweetener. Honey or maple syrup. If the sweetness is just not right for you, and it's very possible because sometimes kale can be bitter, you may want to add a little sweetener. Sweetness balances bitterness. But if you go too overboard on the sweetness, then that's really not going to be good for you. And vinegar, honestly, drizzle it on. I usually say 2 to 4 tablespoons. That was about 2 tablespoons. I'll add a little bit more oil. You can also use a flavor infused olive oil if you wanted to. Then I'm going to toss it up.
Mommy says, love it.
This is, I mean, you may be looking at this and be saying cabbage and kale, that's it? I'm telling you, this is like the best salad. If you ever make this for a cookout or a gathering, this is going to replace your garden salad that you usually make with tomatoes and cucumbers.
How do you convince people that think iceberg lettuce is a salad versus kale being so densely green in that mixture there?
That's a really good question. We really need to, iceberg is a filler. We use it in the restaurant industry to make our salads fuller. It doesn't have any nutritional content because it's, it's full of water. It's iceberg lettuce for a reason. One, you have to stop buying the iceberg. You have to introduce people to different types of greens. The second thing is, one of the reasons why people may or may not like the kales and the cabbage and things like that is because, like I said, they have a bitter taste. But the reason why they have a bitter taste is that bitterness is supposed to assist in your digestion. All right? Your digestive process starts in your mouth. When you salivate over something, that's actually helping to break down the food so it can go down your digestive tract and into your stomach. So that's the first activation of your digestive system. So if we spend all of our years eating nothing but sweets and fats, that saliva generation is not really activated to the point where it should be. Bitter is better. Bitter is better. So those flavors that you get, they may make you, squeeze your mouth and things like that, but they're making you healthy. And the more you eat it, and the more you reduce the amount of sugar in your diet, you will notice that your tastes are changing. You're actually going to prefer bitter over sweet. And that, we went through that because, every night we'd have a dessert, and every night we'd be eating, cakes and cookies and candies and all these other things.
Yeah, not crazy. We weren't
not crazy, but like every night, every day we'd have something sweet, right?
Yeah.
I mean, every day.
Every day.
You used to be the cookie monster. You love cookies.
Why are we talking about 10 years ago?
Oh, I don't know. Anyway, the point is, now, like, if we had a cookie or if we had a candy bar, we'd crash out because it's so much sugar, and we haven't been eating sugar. So,
like, we can't eat candy.
We can't.
Dare not eat candy.
No.
Soda, none.
And we feel horrible.
Like, I just can't even tolerate it anymore. Like, as soon as it touches my tongue.
It's a lifestyle change. So convincing people is just introducing new and fresh foods for them so they can enjoy it. All right, so the salad is done. I'm going to taste it. Let me see.
Jana said you made her go get an apple.
I hope it's a good one.
Yeah, something. What did she say it was? She said it was a golden delicious.
That's good.
You're moving too fast for me.
I'm moving too fast?
Yeah, I got to get up here and I got to get down here. So by the time I got down there, you were back
I'm
up.
used to being in the kitchen in production, so I'm like used to moving really fast. So I'll slow down. Am I going too fast for you? That's really good. So again, if you feel you need more sweetener to it, go ahead and add some honey, some maple syrup, some evaporated cane juice. Also as a sweetener, maybe you want to add some dried cherries to it. Maybe you want to add some nuts or seeds to it. This is just a base. You can do anything you want to with it. you can add, like I said, chicken. Marinate some chicken overnight, and then saute it in a pan or bake it in the oven. And this is like one whole meal. This is your salad and your protein, and you don't have any grains or anything to weigh down.
Linda Soda just said, she said, I'm enjoying developing my taste for bitter. That salad looks awesome. Dion says, save me some.
Oh, I will. There'll be leftovers.
Yeah, you can have it because I can't eat. It's got apples in it.
That's right.
You can have my portion.
So I am removing this so Idris knows. Here's the salad, and I'm removing it for now.
And Mom said that she'll be here with the container.
Ah, you got it. You got it.
12 minutes is too soon. We still be on. So you got to go for a little longer, Mom.
All
And
right.
Mark Robinson said, just had a pear.
And like I
Pears
said,
can go in.
yeah.
Pears could have went in that salad
Yeah,
too, right?
pears could have gone in the salad. I don't have a garbage bucket.
What you-
Pears could have. That's okay.
That's-
I'll just use the garbage next to me.
You
Pears can definitely go
get your
in the
little
salad.
bag?
No, I'll get a little.
Get your little bag.
Sure, give me a little bag. And like I said, you can put the nuts in there. Sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds to boost up your omega-3s. You can add more than one fruit or vegetable in it. Nectarines would be absolutely awesome in this because they're nice and sweet and they're vibrant. So actually nectarines would be really good. Yeah, that would be really good.
I have nectarines.
You do have a nectarine. That would be awesome. I have a little bit more kale left for you. I don't think I used it all.
Where you want this to go?
This is off?
You don't need this anymore?
No, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
All right. So the next thing we're going to do is make a marinated bean salad.
Okay. Thank you.
We didn't want it to be too hot in the kitchen, so we had a fan.
Okay,
But
we have a question before you go on to the next step.
what's up?
Mark Robinson asks, can you tilt to the salad again or have Alexa hold it up? Okay,
Oh,
she wants
yeah,
to see the
absolutely.
salad. Thank you,
Yeah.
Mark. Yep.
Yeah, let me know if I'm going too fast.
You're not going too fast. It's just like
because-
when you didn't give me a cue that, like, you were like, okay, I'm going to take the salad. And then I'm going down to the salad and you're already done with the salad. So I can't. All right.
How's that? So in here you have your nice pieces of kale. Like I said, they're not too small, they're not too big. You have your slices of cabbage. You have your slices of orange. Now, over the days, you know what?
Orange? The
What did I
lemon?
say?
You said slices of orange.
Slices of apple.
Oh.
Throughout your day and throughout the week, some of that marinade or that salad dressing is going to go to the bottom of the bowl. So just give it a toss before you have it, before you plate it, so that all those wonderful juices can redistribute.
Okay.
Okay?
Mark said, oh, it looks great. Dawn Nicholas says, I want some too.
Ah!
Pastor George says hello.
Hey, Pastor George, how are you? So one of the other main functions of REACH is to make sure that we teach the community through demonstrations, through classes and instructions and interactive dialogue, which is really why it's important to prepare for you today these simple, healthy meals. You know, when it's so hot in the kitchen, I don't turn on my oven. And I tell the boys, I'm not cooking. There's a salad or something in the refrigerator. Enjoy that. And make a sandwich or anything else to go with it. So the importance of changing the narrative about what you eat or changing the mindset of what you eat is so vital. And that's one of the things that REACH is really working to do in our communities, to ensure that, you know, we kind of battle the disparities of our health. You know, we are in charge of our health. We need to be concerned about our health. And we need to recognize that there are changes that we need to make for our health. That's anybody. If you know you are eating something and you don't feel good, maybe you shouldn't be eating it because it's not good for you. Your body is supposed to be that compass. You know, food is supposed to nourish. Just like water is vital for plants, as I mentioned, it's vital for our bodies. If we're feeling achy in the morning or we are feeling exhausted and we can't get through the day, take a look back and think about what you had to drink that day. Have you had any water? Many of us wake up, some of us, some of you, wake up, what do you get? First thing, I gotta get my coffee. All right. Some people may have it black, some people may put sugar and cream in it. Okay, I need my coffee to wake up. All right, I'm awake. But then they're like, I need more water. I need more coffee. I used to have someone that I worked with, and they told me, I asked them, how much water do you drink? They're like, well, not much. I said, well, tell me about your day. And they simply said, well, I wake up, I have some coffee before I leave the house, and then when I get to work, I grab a soda. I'm like, okay. All right. I said, and then what do you have next? I don't know. I'm usually running around and, working really hard, so I don't think I have anything until lunchtime or dinner. Like, that's probably why you're sluggish, why your joints are aching. You could be getting headaches. That's the first step. Start incorporating more water. Pour water. Water your plant. Water your body. It's going to be really important and really good for you.
Mark Robinson asked, is this streaming live on YouTube? I want to share it with people who do not have Facebook. And
Actually, you should be able to access this even though you don't have Facebook, because it's just going to go right to my page, and you should be able to press play. I can try and see if this will download, and then I'll upload it to YouTube. Absolutely, we can do that. All right, I am going to make some bean salad, marinated bean salad. And I have some fun things that I'm going to work here with, but first I'm going to make the dressing. I'm using maple syrup because that's just what I have at hand right now. You can use honey for this. Honey's actually a really nice sweetener for this dressing. Dijon mustard. You can use granulated garlic. I use it because it's simple. If you want a fresher garlickier flavor, you can definitely use minced garlic, regular minced garlic. I like to buy my spices. The spices that I use a whole lot. I'll buy the powdered spices. But for spices that I use in abundance, but I like the full flavor of it, I will buy whole spices. This is whole oregano. It's a little cut and sifted, but technically it's whole oregano. It's not powdery or grainy. Whole spices last longer. They have a longer shelf life. These are only a couple months technically. So if you have granulated garlic in your cabinet, which has been there for over a year, toss it out, get a new container. You can always grind up spices in a coffee maker or coffee grinder, or sometimes a blender, depending upon how big they are. But whole spices are better because they just have more flavor and they stay fresher longer. All right, and then salt and pepper. Questions?
Not yet. Tell me when you're going to start putting in the bowl so I can focus on the bowl.
Okay, I am going to start as soon as I find my measuring cup. I'm going to start putting in the bowl. Where's my measuring cup? Here it is. Are you ready for me?
I'm going to the bowl.
All right, so we're going to start with a 1/4 cup of red wine vinegar. Red wine vinegar is sweet, but it's also kind of that bittery tart flavor. And then I'm going to add in some lemon juice. Lemon juice is an acid, but it's also alkaline, and sometimes it can change the bitterness of something, so it's not as bitter. If you want, you can also put lemon zest in this to boost the lemon flavor. So about half of a lemon. Gonna add in a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. That's about a tablespoon. See how it looks like the size of a tablespoon? Tablespoon here, tablespoon there. I didn't have to measure it. Get comfortable with using your eyes and get comfortable with using your senses. All right, now about 2 teaspoons of sweetener. Sometimes with salad dressings and vinegars, you need a little more sweetener than you think. A 1/4 teaspoon, it's about 2 pinches of salt, and about a couple dashes of pepper. I love pepper. Pepper also helps with digestion. You often see the bowl, right? I'm going to use granulated garlic, but you can use minced garlic. I'll probably add a little minced garlic.
Pepper helps with absorption too.
Absorption, yes, it really does. So if you are someone who is interested about learning more about turmeric and things like that, black pepper, I am not a doctor. I just do a lot of research. I am not a nutritionist. However, I know from reading and experience and doing and learning that some things work, some things don't work for me. And if anybody gives you any information about things, always test it out. Always research it. Always do your own reading. Talk to your doctor. Make sure you know that what you're doing is good for your body. So, let's start whisking. Just to incorporate everything. So I don't know if you saw me, you may not have. Underneath my bowl, I put down a paper towel. This is a stainless steel bowl. I'm going to be whisking. It's going to move a lot. My wet paper towel on my cutting board is going to stabilize it so it doesn't move a lot. Oregano. Maybe about 1.5 teaspoons. Talking a lot, I need some water. Mix that up. Now, I'm going to get my olive oil. This is extra virgin olive oil again. Extra virgin olive oil you want to use for, well, one, it has a strong flavor. So, if you don't like the taste of olive oil, there are other oils that you can use. Grape seed, not rapeseed. Grape seed oil is a very nutritious oil. It's very good for you. It has a very neutral flavor. Olive oil is a step above neutral. So you're going to get that fruitiness or flavor from the olives in extra virgin olive oil. Regular olive oil is another good cooking oil. You can use it on the stove, and it has a milder flavor. Another good oil you can cook with is avocado oil. Very nutritious, very nutrient dense oil from avocados. So those are just a few things about oil. Do not cook with extra virgin olive oil because one, it's more expensive. You defeat the purpose of why you're using it. And it's just going to break down, and you don't want it to do that. Okay, I'm going to go back to mixing. Are you ready for me? So you can do this in a blender. I just choose to do it this way. I'm mixing and whisking in my bowl. And I'm going to drizzle my oil. And with the air from the whisk and a couple drops of oil, it's going to catch. Once it catches, that emulsification is going to start. And then I drizzle until I have the flavor and the texture and the consistency that I want. You can do it separately. You don't have to do it like this. You can just dump olive oil into this and mix, but you're going to be mixing for a little while. There's a reason why they say oil and water don't mix. You got to work harder when you got oil and water because they're so different. So if you look in the bowl, as I'm mixing, see it's coming together, and you see the color of that vinegar has changed. This is also a salad dressing you can simply put in a jar and mix it up and shake. It'll do the same thing. It's about good. I'm going to set this aside. All right, now on to our bean salad. Today I'm using canned beans, which is, it's inexpensive. I actually chose to get the reduced sodium beans.
Can't see that.
Because
Hold it up.
we don't want sodium in anything, obviously. We don't want a lot of sodium. And canned goods, processed goods, do have high sodium. So what I do is I actually soak the canned beans in water for a few minutes. I drain them. I run water over them again. I rinse them to make sure that, I get as much salt out as I can. And with this bean salad, again, you can customize it any way that you want to. I always go for color, texture, and flavor. So because of that, and you can use dried beans for this. You just have to cook them in advance. One quick tip you can do for beans is if you want to use dried beans, go ahead, soak them overnight, cook them on your stove, let them get to that nice tender consistency, and then take the beans and the liquid, once it's cooled, out of the pot, put it in a plastic container, and you can freeze it. Then you can have your own beans. You don't have to go to the store to get a 50-cent or 75-cent can. You can have your beans stocked up in the freezer. Just take them out of the freezer, let them thaw in the refrigerator, and then rinse them to get that starch off again, and you're ready to go. You have your own canned beans, your own processed beans that you knew what you put into them.
Did you say color, flavor, and texture?
Color, flavor, and texture, yeah. So, kidney beans.
Okay.
It's simply just one can. I chose cannellini beans because of the texture. They're very, they have a very creamy texture, so it's going to pair well with the kidney beans. And then black beans, because they're awesome. You can put them on everything. All right, now, I said texture, and you're probably saying all those beans are mushy. They are. So I took more beans, green beans, fresh green beans, and I blanched them. So I partially cooked them. So I boiled a pot of water. I added just a little bit of salt in it after it was boiled. And after cleaning my beans, I threw them in, and I left them for a minute, literally a minute. You don't want to do longer than that for this salad, because this is another marinated salad, so it's going to be sitting for a while. And you don't want the beans to break down too fast or too long.
B. Will is on. What's up, brother?
Hey, B. Will, what's up? So, all I'm going to do, just slice up my beans. Slice them up and throw them in the bowl. And you can use chickpeas in the salad. You can use pinto beans. You can use cranberry beans. You can use, what else? What else can you use in here? You can use zucchini in here if you wanted to. Raw zucchini, because, cooked zucchini would get slimy and it would not behave well in the salad.
I want some zucchini bread.
You want some? Oh, we haven't had zucchini bread in a long time. Yeah, I'll make you some zucchini bread.
The last
And you
one?
hear that crisp? Did you hear the crisp when I was cutting the green bean? So I blanched it to bring out the color and to bring out the sweetness of the bean, but I wanted to make sure that crunch remained, because that's going to be part of the texture for this bean salad. What were you going to say?
Last time you made zucchini salad, not zucchini salad, zucchini bread,
You fell asleep?
was it gluten-free?
Oh, yeah. I do a lot of gluten-free baking because I can't eat gluten. So I make sure that I find nutritious flours to replace with other flours. One thing about gluten-free cooking, you have to be very careful. If you are a diabetic and you have an aversion to gluten, you have to be careful about what types of flours or products you use, because a lot of the gluten-free flours are made with grains that are, raise your blood sugar. So you don't want to use that. All right, the next ingredient I need is parsley. My washed, rinsed parsley. I'm just going to take maybe that much from it. Maybe I will put a little minced garlic in there too. You can also buy, they have a really cool product at Wegmans. They're herbs in a tube. I really like using those because sometimes I don't need a whole bunch of parsley. I literally just need a little bit. Or lemongrass or ginger or anything like that. So I buy these. And they're actually really cool products. They're pricey, but they're about $5, but you get 19 servings out of each tube. For a quick marinade, if you're just looking to spice up a cold salad right quick, these are lifesavers because it gives you just a little bit of a flavor boost. You want to chop the parsley. You don't want, if you like parsley, it doesn't have to be a fine chop. You can just loosely chop it. I'm chopping it, just a little bit more than fine. And I'm putting that right on. Remember, color, texture, and flavor. Next, I have a clove of garlic. Just decided to put that in there. Especially because this is going to be sitting. The garlic is going to intensify, give you a nice flavor. Simply going to chop. You'll have to get on another class in order to really have me go over chopping techniques. If you're interested in one of those classes, let me know, because I can certainly look that up for you. What other things are you all looking to see in terms of cooking, or what other foods that you have curiosities about? Drop a link or drop the note. I'll make sure that I take it under advisory and try and incorporate that into some of these cooking series for you. Just because, every opportunity is an opportunity to learn, so, hey, I will help wherever and whenever I can. All right, so, you could also use the jar minced garlic for this if you wanted to. I sometimes think that those minced garlics in the jar sometimes taste off. I don't know why, but just to me. So I prefer fresh garlic. You could also use a grater in order to go ahead and take care of your garlic.
You just slid that garlic off of your fingers with the blade.
Oh, yeah.
That is not what you would teach your students.
Well, yeah. So this is my tool. I do have some bad habits. But I also have the scars that show that I've learned what to do and what not to do. So I know where my blade is at all times because I don't want any blood on this mat.
Yeah. Just give the disclaimer that you know what you're doing.
I know what I'm doing.
I don't want nobody on here telling us. Well, she scraped the garlic right off of her hand with a knife.
If you are going to scrape, and I know I didn't, use the butt of the knife. This knife needs to be sharpened, so I didn't mind using the blade, but when you're scraping off your cutting board, use the butt of the knife, because if you use the front of the knife, it's going to dull your blade. It's going to make it harder to cut things. It's not going to be as sharp. And you want a sharp knife, because the worst thing in the kitchen is to have a dull knife, because that's actually where the danger comes from. if you're struggling to cut through an onion, yeah, that's not good. And I'm going to add a little bit of onion. You could use shallots if you wanted to. I use this cutting board.
We have onions in our garden that we haven't.
We do have onions in our garden. Thank you to
harvested
Freedom
yet.
Gardens of Buffalo. Wonderful resource, a lot of information if you're interested in having a garden or figuring out how to start a garden, contact them. So I cut my onion in half because I want a flat side. I'm going to peel the outside layer because that's no good. Alright, now I'm going to do a small dice. So in order to do that, I'm going to section my onion across this way and then slice it the other way. If you like the taste of onion, go ahead and make your cuts pretty large. Not large, but maybe about 1/4 inch, a little less than 1/4. So what you're going to have is a fan. Alright. Then I'm going to do, because this is a large red onion, I'm going to actually cut it this way. Watch your fingers, watch your everything. And then, like TV magic, I'm going to have diced onion. And I'm just going to throw in a little bit in there. Now this, you got to think about this. This is like almost 4 cans of beans. So for 4 people, this is definitely enough for the week. Alright, so back to my salad dressing that I already made. My marinade. And guess what I'm going to do? Pour it right over it. And then, simple spoon. And you can see, if you look, can you see the bottom of that, Therese?
Mm-hmm.
You see all that dressing down there? In the bottom of the bowl?
Yeah, hold it up a little bit more. Yep, they can see
There's
that.
your dressing, alright? So this is when we stir. Stir and then taste. If you need a touch more salt, go ahead and add it, but be mindful, you got those beans in there which already do contain some salt. So you don't want to add too much. You have the lemon juice. Lemon juice is going to intensify the salty flavor. So let it sit for a couple hours and then taste it. Do not taste it and then automatically season with salt. Let it sit for a minute, all right? Which means you should be preparing food in advance, not right before you're hungry. All right, can you all see this? Look how pretty that is. You got color, you got flavor, you got texture. That's good. I would add a touch more salt, but again, after I let it sit, possibly a little lemon juice just to bring out the brightness of all of these flavors. And then that would be it.
Move it back.
Move it back some?
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yes.
That way, this beautiful salad. Can you imagine this on the center of a table? Just beautiful. All right, so, and beans are going to give you good protein. So that's going to be really important. All right, any questions? Because I'm going on to the last thing. Got about 20 minutes left.
Monica asked about Freedom Gardens, so I just sent her a message from
beautiful.
Buffalo Rising because I don't think they're on the web yet.
I think they have a Facebook page and an Instagram page.
All right, let me find that. Samantha Draper.
Hi, how are you, Sam? All right, so we all like a quick meal, and if you're trying to stay away from animal proteins, use beans or use mushrooms or use other alternatives or substitutes. So sometimes as someone who is new to a plant-based lifestyle or someone who's looking to go vegan, they're looking for something that'll give them a nice protein kick but give them good flavor. So one thing is called a chickpea salad, which is ironic that I'm saying that when I'm also saying tuna in the same breath, because you wouldn't think that chickpeas could taste like tuna, but they do, especially when you make it like you make tuna salad. So I'm using actually a small can, a half can of garbanzo beans instead of a full can. And I just went to tops for that. It's already rinsed, drained. Putting it right in my bowl. And in order to get that texture, I'm gonna mash it. Can you see me mashing?
Yeah.
Just a fork. You want to keep some of the beans whole. Remember, texture. Sometimes, people don't like things because it's mushy. So you don't want it to be mushy. Alright, and this is just going to be a simple meal for one that you can put on a plate with your kale salad, or you can have it on a sandwich with some tomatoes and some lettuce and some onions. And I have to go get my mayo. Ooh, my mayo looks good.
For those just joining us, you have to explain what that is and what you're doing.
Yes, so, ooh, look at that. It's not going anywhere. I made vegan mayo. How did I make vegan mayo? I made it with the liquid from the chickpeas in my salad. I use the aquafaba, which is what it's called. Oops. Aquafaba with some lemon juice, some lemon zest, some garlic powder, some mustard, a little bit of sweetener. I used a hand blender, immersion blender, to blend all those ingredients together right in this cup, this mason jar. And then I streamed some mayonnaise on top of it.
Are they getting recipes?
Yeah, so I do have recipes, one on my website, which is www.alexajoan.com, as well as if you have registered for this series in order to win the $50 gift card, you'll be able to access some of that information as well. All right, so I'm putting in a little bit of oregano. Just a little bit. Oregano can be very overpowering. And remember, you're only making this for one person, so you don't want a mouthful of oregano. Then it's not, I don't like the flavor of that. So I'm going to add in about a half to a full teaspoon, probably a half, of dill relish. Well, this one is sweet relish. And then of the dill relish. Maybe you're saying that that's going to balance or cut each other out. It really doesn't. The sweet and the dill just works really well with this salad. And then I'm going to add in Bragg's amino acid or soy sauce. No, it doesn't say Bragg's. I reuse all my containers. So I buy in bulk. So you'll see my salt, for example, is in a container here. So I buy it at large quantities, the things that I use a lot, and then I just portion out what I'm going to need. I love this little Kikkoman jar, so I just, put my soy sauce in that. So, huh?
Go ahead. I'll tell you after.
Just a little, again, this is also a salt substitute, so you don't want a lot of it. There are low sodium soy sauces, but be mindful of how much you use because it's going to raise your sodium content. You don't want to do that. I have not added any salt to this. I added a pinch of salt to the mayo. There's already salt in the garbanzo beans. There's a touch of salt in the relish, so I'm not adding a lot of extra salt to this.
Okay, I want to say hello to Elizabeth Foy.
Hi, Elizabeth Foy.
Sam Hutch.
Hi, Sam Hutch.
And Peg Genovese Carmen.
Hey, Peg, how you doing? This is balsamic vinegar. Balsamic and soy sauce mixed together along with that oregano is really going to boost up that tuna flavor. You could add like some seaweed, like wakame or nori papers to add this to really get that fishy flavor. I don't think you need it. I mean, it's simply a chickpea salad, something that has been around for years, but because people have, started moving away from meat, it's become more present and at the forefront because it's meat free. So just a touch of balsamic. Could you use another vinegar? Absolutely. You could use rice vinegar. You could use apple cider vinegar. It'll change the flavor a little bit, but it still serves the same purpose.
So for those that just signed on, you have to let them know what you're making.
Right now, I'm making chickpea tuna, chickpea mash, chickpea salad, or chickpea tuna, as some people say. It's a substitute for tuna fish. So if you don't want to have an animal protein, make this. You won't miss tuna fish. A dollop of Dijon mustard. I like to add garlic. Garlic is good. It's good for the heart. A little bit of granulated garlic. You could use fresh garlic if you really want to make a gourmet option. And then a touch of sriracha. If you like it, if you like heat, add more if you like. And I'm going to add just a touch. Remember, this is for one person. So look at all the ingredients I put in. It may end up making 2 servings because it's roughly about a cup. And you only want to eat about 4 ounces. So have 4 ounces now, a little scoop, and a little 4 ounces later. Touch of maple syrup. Pepper.
Sam said, I just ate hummus. Does that count?
It counts. Not the same.
It had garlic in it.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. That works. There you go. Mix it up. Kind of looks like tuna sometimes. Remember, don't mash all your beans. Keep some whole or some half. And then look at this. This is just magic. So those of you that were with us from the beginning.
There. The camera's right here.
Oh, where's the camera?
Right there. You can.
Look at that. Mayo. And it started from this. That's been emulsified with oil and spices. So I'm going to put in 2 spoonfuls and see what that looks like. Probably a little too much, but that's okay. You can always add more chickpeas if you have them. But there's your chickpea tuna. That was probably too much. I probably could have added 1. Typically when you're making things, if you're unsure or if you're not measuring, start with less. You can always add more, but you can't take things away. If you learn nothing else, I know you'll remember that one because I know your mama said that to you or your grandmama. All right, so that is chickpea tuna. Taste it. Make sure it has a good flavor. Hopefully the brightness in the lemon will come out. You could add carrots to this, shredded carrots. Ooh, maybe I should do that. I have some shredded carrots. You could add shredded carrots to this. You could add sunflower seeds. Celery, onion.
Anything crunchy?
Anything crunchy.
Not nuts.
You could. Nuts really good. That's good.
Pine nuts.
You could have pine nuts. That would be fun.
Not peanuts.
No, not peanuts. I don't think peanuts would be good.
That's what I'm saying about not any nut. It's gotta
Not
be.
any nut. Oh, that's good. The sriracha is like just, it's perfect. I'm going to put this back, which is my mayo. And when you're making your mayonnaise, again, it's another thing that you can add flavors to. So the things that are going to allow you to change flavors are acids, your vinegars, your lemon juice, all this time I didn't even use the garbage bag you gave me. You can use anything that you like to. And for those of you that are just joining us, my cameraman today has been Idris Wajid.
Your tech
my tech
person.
person,
And your
camera
cameraman.
person, and my
and your
sous chef.
and your Your co-host.
My co-host monitoring the
Your
questions.
monitor. Your
Yes.
moderator.
Yes, my moderator.
So Fana said seeds or pepitas.
Yes, that would be wonderful too. Yep, so sunflower seeds. You could add chia seeds to this if you wanted to. Hemp seeds, which are definitely a good protein kick. You can do all those things. So it'd be really good. Any other questions? Because I'm getting ready to plate so I can eat. Let's see. I'm going to start with... So, today we made cabbage, kale, and apple salad with an apple cider vinaigrette, basically, which was apple cider vinegar, a little bit of sweetener, olive oil, salt and pepper. I used regular curly kale, white cabbage, and a gala apple. You can use any kale that you want to. You can use Tuscan or curly. You can use red cabbage or green cabbage. You can use any apple that you want to. Or you can add dried fruit or nectarines or peaches. A stone fruit would be very good. You could even add strawberries if you thought that might work. And then, so cool, again, I know I mentioned this before, but a really cool thing about the salad, it's simply a side salad. You can add chicken to it. You could add beans like we're about to do to it. You can do so much with it. And it will last all week. Up to 5 days is typically the day that like restaurants use, depending upon what the product is. It's 3 to 5 days for how long something can stay in your refrigerator. And that's based on how quickly it can go bad or how quickly the product can break down and no longer be good. Next, we made a beautiful 4-bean marinated salad. And there's still some more marinade down there, so I'm going to stir it up before I put it on my plate. And this has blanched green beans that have been cut up. And blanched means simply boil some hot water, add a touch of salt, add your clean green beans into the water, let them sit for about 1 minute, and then throw them in an ice bath so that you shock them so that they stop cooking. That is going to help you achieve a crispy, bright green bean. And I have black beans and cannellini beans, kidney beans, chopped garlic, red onion, and parsley. So, this is one complete meal because you have your vegetables, a good variety, a good colorful plate. You also have your protein, which is the beans, your legumes. So this is a meal. This is a plant-based meal. This is something that you can eat and it would fill you up. If you wanted to, for those people that are still having an aversion to not eating without meat, marinate some chicken, throw it in the oven or throw it in a pan, cook it, slice it up, put it right on that plate. Some shrimp, some salmon, some cod, turkey breast or deli meat if you're still eating deli meat, which, you know, that's another conversation because there's some nitrates and some other things in there that are not really good for you. If you eat beef, if you are someone that still enjoys eating beef, then go ahead and, you know, add that. But just make sure you don't use too much of it too often because sometimes our bodies, especially as we get older, our bodies find it harder to digest red meat. So if you're eating a steak and enjoying it and loving it and you recognize that, I'm not feeling that great, could be the beef. Figure it out, try it out. You could add some sliced mushrooms to this after they've been like a portobello mushroom. Put it in the oven, bake it, 375 for about 15 to 20 minutes. Take it out, slice it. You can lay that right on there as well. So, and the other thing we made is our chickpea tuna that after it sits in a refrigerator, it'll sit up for a little bit. And you can enjoy this with some crackers, or with some cucumber slices or carrot slices. You can put it on a sandwich. You can put it in a wrap and add some crunchy vegetables to it if you're a person who likes, you know, that crunch or that texture. You could also simply just put it on your plate with the kale salad instead of the marinated bean salad, and you have multiple meals right here, all for under $20. Let's see. So we are coming to the end of the program. However, I will definitely stay on if you all have questions. But one, I wanted to thank Reach and CAI Global for asking me to do this for you. You know, one of their main goals and where they want to make change is increasing access to nutritious foods and making sure that, you know, they're creating a community that is focused around health. Not just health for the individual, but health for the family and health for children. And making sure that all of these chronic diseases are being tackled. Our health starts in our health starts in our mouth. What we put in our mouth is really going to dictate kind of how our health is. So if you're just not feeling right, or if you find that you're really tired in the morning, or you get sluggish by noon, or something seems off, think about what you're eating. Are you eating a lot of bread? Are you eating a lot of pasta? Are you eating a lot of sugar? Are you eating a lot of coffee? Are you not getting enough vegetables? Are you not getting enough water? Are you not incorporating healthy things into your diet? Are you eating late at night? Those are some of the things that really affect how we live and how we eat and how we survive and how we stay healthy. Make sure the goal is to stay healthy. Make vegetables the star of your plate. You don't always have to focus on food. So think about how your plate can look without making your meals centered around chicken or turkey. Figure out the vegetables. Make the meat the side option or the side dish. So thank you again, REACH, which is Racial and Ethnic Approaches to Community Health, which is a project of CAI Buffalo. I appreciate you all for joining me, and I am certainly open to questions. We do have another series that's taking place in August and another one in September. I will tag those dates. And Ruthie, if you're still on, I think one is August 18th and the second one might be September 25th. We're trying to do different days to see which day is best for the audience, because you all are busy. You know, it's the time of Corona and everybody's virtual calendar is booked. So that's why this video is going to live on my Facebook page by Alexa Joan, and I will try and upload it to YouTube so that you can access it as well. And if you need more recipes, feel free to go to my website, which is www.alexajoan.com. Feel free to email me. If you have a question, you know, let me know what it is. I'll answer. One of my friends, I don't know if she's still on, she calls me, you know, once a week. All right, I got this chicken. What am I doing with it? I just give some ideas, give some tips, you know, something like that. Just because sometimes we get so caught up in the mundane and the things that we do over and over again that we don't go outside of our comfort zone. And outside of our comfort zone, you'll find some healthy, nutritious, and fun things. So make sure you remember that soul food is food for the soul. Thank you.
And lastly,
Yes.
Yazzie just joined, so
Who?
Yaz.
Hey, yes.
And I missed Auntie Jamila was on too.
Oh. Hey, all. So yeah, so that's a wrap. That's where we are.
All right, I'm going to show the plate and
Yeah. And if you all have any questions in the last few minutes while we play some music, feel free to let us know while I clean up.
Elizabeth Foy said you're awesome.
Thank you.
Yaz said peace, family.
Peace, peace. See you later.